I think the origin of the funky part was Han Solo kind of rhyming with patio. I'm like, I got to do something with this now. And then, Joan taking a swing at me because in the documentary, she's very animated when she's talking, she's in her 80s, and she was always like swinging her arms around as she talked. It's like she was punching me. Yeah.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with reclusive singer-songwriter Buggy Jive, who enjoys a seltzer and an espresso and revisits his 2018 album, The Buggy Jive Mixtape. He talks about making music from his basement, meeting his manager through a Joni Mitchell fan group, and his big beef with Lenny Kravitz. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we listen to music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us from all the way from his home in Del Mar, New York, Buggy Jive.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, thank you.
Not everyone gets that kind of applause in their home, right? I know I don't get that kind of applause in my home most days. Well, welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. This is the show where we invite some of our favorite artists to revisit old records. We listen to them together. And for those of you joining us for the live taping, feel free to throw your questions and comments in the chat and let us know where you are tuned in from. If you're enjoying a beverage or a snack on this happy hour. And it looks like Alan, first of the party, says, happy today, everybody. Salmon dinner happening. So nothing too funky. Okay. Well, salmon dinner sounds pretty good to me. Christopher saying gorgeous day in Savage, Minnesota. Looking forward to the show with some dry white wine paired with a smoked trout salad.
Ooh,
what's with this?
Wow, there's a theme going on.
A lot of fish happening today. It's not, well, it is Friday. So,
That's true.
Fish on Friday. And Susan joined us from Bend, Oregon, sipping on a Holy Schmidt from Sun River Brewing.
Holy Schmidt.
That's a great name.
Yes, I love this. Awesome. Welcome, Susan.
And Connie joining us from Richfield. And Tony, are you enjoying any kind of beverage today?
I am. It's officially fall here, and while it doesn't quite feel that way with the temperature right now, it's still my favorite time of year to drink dark beers. And so, like last week, I've got the Black Butte from Deschutes, but the NA variety, it tastes
so
really,
good,
really
right?
good. And you can't really see my back catalog listening pint glass, but you will by the end of the hour.
As it gets drunk, that's right.
Chug.
Yeah. How about you, Ellen?
Well, so you know how you are like, oh, I don't really have anything interesting, but so you start digging into the back of your cabinets.
Yeah.
Well, today was one of those days. So I found a whole box of like holiday mixers, to make like cocktails, but they all have holiday names. So this is Merry Metal Margarita.
Oh boy.
And so so this is it. It's very green.
Wow.
And I have not tried it yet, but we're going to give it a go. I feel like, if you're cleaning out your cabinets, trying to save some bucks, I feel like now I should pair it with a can of like beans or something like that. But Buggy, are you enjoying any kind of beverage?
I'm not as excited. It's just, I have a seltzer and an espresso in a Yeti cup.
Perfect.
That's great.
That sounds like a good combo.
Yeah.
Sure
I was going to have a
does.
Lefroy, but I'm too nervous to drink.
That can be
I might have a little
post.
after.
Yeah. Well, cheers, everybody.
Yes.
No
Cheers. Buggy, thank you for being here. And cheers for all of you folks who joined the party early. And hey, look, Alinda just tuned in from New Haven. Good to see you, Alinda.
All right.
Like Ellen said, this is a happy hour. This is a party. So do chime in with your questions and comments. This is going to be a fun hour.
Yeah, we're really excited about this. And I first heard Buggy Jive perform live at, was it last year's Folk Alliance Regional Midwest Conference in Chicago? I think. Yeah.
That was
and
there.
I just loved your performance so much. And I've been itching to get you on the show. So I'm really glad that this worked out in between touring and other things. For folks who maybe aren't as familiar with your music, maybe you could give a brief origin story about where you grew up, how you fell into making music, and or how you became Buggy Jive. Because I'm guessing that was not your given name. Sort of like Mother Banjo is not my given name.
Yeah. I used my government name for years. My first album came out in 1999. To really rewind, I started out as a kid playing organ because my dad, when he was not teaching in Schenectady schools, was a assistant pastor at our local Baptist church. And he was excited for me to play organ in the church. So I had organ lessons.
Nice.
Like eventually I was in bands in middle school and college, and eventually I transitioned to guitar. And I'm trying to do like the short version.
Take as long as you want.
Yeah.
I've always gone back and forth between like acoustic guitar and electric guitar. So in 99, I did kind of like an acoustic, I guess you could call it like an acoustic hip hop album almost. And that was kind of like first album under my real name. And, always balancing the day job with making music, usually by myself in a basement or whatever. And I don't know, after several years of that, I just feel like I wanted a reset, and a few of my friends had done that where they just kind of like started fresh again. So it was back in 2017, I guess, was when I came up with the idea for Buggy Jive. For a couple albums, I had gone with my name as Buggy Jive was the name of my pretend band, and even on one of the albums, I dressed up as all the characters in the band. So at a certain point, I'm like, I'm just making music by myself. Why don't I just become the band? So
nice.
that was kind of the origin story. And that's where I, released the album we're going to listen to tonight, I guess.
Which sounds like it came out just about a year after then this was 2018. You said 2017 was having. So this, can you kind of set up this album for us? Like we're, like you were putting out this music under another name, and now you've kind of come to accept, that you are the band. Can you give us the setup of this record?
Yeah, a lot of it too was that I wasn't really interested in playing live as much, and I was really focused on making music in my basement. I think I had applied to a couple like music festivals and things, and I wanted to explain the fact that I was just a guy living in making music out of his basement. So part of the origin story was kind of this mysterious guy who just uploads music from somewhere in upstate New York or whatever.
Nobody knows.
And that's why it's kind of called a mixtape. It's like contraband, unauthorized release or whatever. I don't know. Just invent a little mystery and have fun with it. But I simultaneously, I came up with the idea for doing a house concert in my house, in my basement, in this room to, pretend people, basically. So
we have a picture here.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that up here. Let's see here. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, you even put a picture of people, it looks like.
I printed out a poster of just a random audience. It was kind of inspired by, I don't know if you've seen the movie King of Comedy, where there's that one sad scene where he's practicing stand-up comedy in his mom's basement, and he's just singing to a wall of fake people, just like I am there. So that was kind of the idea of it. Was I'm too afraid to leave the house to play for real people, so I invented my own little concert in my house.
And this was the kind of the origin of what we're going to hear today. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And if you are just listening to the podcast version of the show, again, we're looking at a photo of him again playing to the fake audience in his basement, which is really fantastic. And again, we'll be sharing some of these photos from the show today that we'll be talking about in the show notes if you go to backcataloglisteningparty.com. Well, I am itching to hear some music that emerged from this mysterious basement. The first song that you picked to feature on today's show is the White Album for Joan Didion. And is there anything you want to say about this before we take a listen?
I will say that the Joan Didion documentary came out, produced by her nephew Griffin Dunn several years ago, and I had been, I loved her writing. I was dying for this documentary to come out, and about halfway through, where she's talking about her writing process and her kind of rules of writing, I started thinking about my own rules for songwriting, and I just kind of had to stop this movie that I'd been waiting years to see and go write this song that starts out with like telling myself my rules for writing, for songwriting. And then eventually it evolves into a very different groove that it's kind of like Joan is yelling at me. In my head, it's Joan's voice yelling at me for being wrong about my rules of writing. And it proceeds to break all the rules that are listed in the first two verses. I'm a weird songwriter. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, we love hearing about the process. And this is one of the more interesting that I've heard. And this photo here, that this kind of this collage here, I'm assuming that's Joan, and and next to her.
That is Harrison Ford.
Oh, I thought so.
Who popped in the documentary talking about how, when he was a struggling actor, he built her patio. He was, a carpenter, and he built her patio in her house in Malibu. So there's a reference to that in the song. I am the weirdest song. Oh my gosh.
No way, man.
I also love, by the way, in that Joan Didion photo, like she's like has a cigarette in one hand and she's her arm across her chest, and she looks like she's kind of like no BS.
Yeah,
like,
she's yelling at me.
I know. I was gonna say this must.
You
have
call
been
yourself a writer?
Like a scolding kind of look.
Yeah, she's
like,
staring through your soul. There. Well, I love this setup so much, and I'm going to be listening for the rules and the ones that you broke, and the Harrison Ford reference. This is a great way to kick off the hour. This is Buggy Jive, the White Album for Joan Didion, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
No similes, no metaphors. They want the peace and chill. And I recall how in old photographs she stood so very still. Malibu cool on Cuba, Han Solo patio, California limbo. But now she's moving, y'all. She is moving. She's like a prize fighter, swinging at the carriage of a typewriter, swinging the arm with every syllable as if her words ain't enough. She be swinging them delicate arms like the conversations come to fisticuffs. Uppercuts in uppercase, in italics, in a giant font in bold face. And I'm feeling like I'm on the Benzedrine, cause her arms be reaching at me through the screen. And I wanna know what it all means. And I wanna know what it all means. And I try to take her hand, she takes a swing at me, and I am down, and then she sings to me words of wisdom while standing over me like a prayer, like the rosary standing over me. She is scolding me with no S left to give. She be saying it like this here, y'all.
We tell ourselves stories in order to live.
Yeah. Wow.
All right.
Amazing.
That's a great ending, by the way. And I'm assuming that's Joan's words right there.
Yeah. I'd never really authorized that sample of Joan, but
Well, you know,
it's
her big quote. I had to use it.
Yeah, it's great. So again, that was Buggy Jive with the White Album, for a song written for Joan Didion from his 2018 album, the Buggy Jive Mixtape. Buggy Jive joining us live from his home in upstate New York. And then Alinda chimed in to say, hard to stay still with this beat. It's true. I don't think there was any way you could not move to that song. Even with the changing rhythms, I was totally into it. Folks chiming in the chat. And Christopher commenting, interesting changes from major chords to some funky minors. How did sort of the structure of the song come to be? Was it you following your rules when you were writing about the rules and then deciding to break them?
I can't remember which came first. Like, I guess the beginning of the song came first, but I think the origin of the funky part was Han Solo kind of rhyming with patio. I'm like, I got to do something with this now. And then, Joan taking a swing at me, because I mean, in the documentary, she's very animated when she's talking, she's in her 80s, and she was always like swinging her arms around as she talked. So that was part of the.
Yeah.
It's like she was punching me. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I wish I could remember like what possessed me to like just make something completely different from the second part, but I knew I don't know.
It feels very theatrical, which is why I'll come back to my point in just a moment. But Susan was saying definitely has a rock and roll feel, but then comes the soul, and I feel like it had this theatrical quality because it's like you talking, doing your thing, and then like Joan comes in and tells you what's what, almost like musical theater. Like it has that like two different voices, right?
Yeah.
With different styles of music. And do you have any sort of like theater background? Because I feel like there is so much drama in your music.
I don't really have. I mean, the extent of like my my performing on stage, is there's a first grade play. I did have the lead role. I was Dick Whittington in Dick Whittington and His Cat. And then, our senior show, which was like a night of, a bunch of skits that we did. I was in like 3 or 4 of those senior year of high school, but I haven't really, with that said, I always thought I was going to be a novelist because I've been writing novels and short stories and poems since I was in elementary school, really. So I think that aspect of storytelling kind of leaks into songwriting, but it also, the songs I write tend to be a little bit abstract and maybe they need Cliff's Notes or some kind of guide to understand all the references, but it can be kind of stream of conscious. And as I was talking about a new song that I'm releasing, and I'm like, this song is really just a bunch of inside jokes with myself, and they're kind of all as I think about it, I don't know.
I think it's great. I was trying to catch all the different references. It's like something I want to go back and listen to again. And I love that, that there is there's an opening for us to interpret it, ourselves too. So I love it, man. Don't apologize for that.
Yeah. And I feel like it's interesting you mentioned the literary references, because again, that sense of character seems really strong in that song. And really, really great stuff. And if folks have more comments or questions, feel free to throw it in the live chat. I'm just like bursting with them.
I got one.
Go for it.
I just wanted to remark on just like how great this sounds. Like you said you recorded this in your basement by yourself.
Well, and that was another
amazing.
impetus for making this record. Was I had just upgraded my home studio stuff, and by upgrading I just mean like the smallest version of like the universal audio input output, and I got a new MacBook Pro or whatever, and so it wasn't like I was buying all this crazy gear. It was just but it was definitely leveling up from what I had before. So
like
I hear it and I'm like, I hear the learning.
Wow.
Not me. We listen to a lot of records, right, Ellen? I mean, this sounds like as good of a studio record as we've heard.
I
really sounds
I don't
good.
know what episode we're on right now, Tony, but we've listened to a lot of records. Over 250 albums on this show alone. And
I will say I do all my own engineering and mixing, but I do hand it off to my buddy Troy Pohl, who is like the golden ears of the Albany, New York area. He polishes my turds, as I like to say.
So he does like the mastering, or does he help you mix?
Yeah, he does the mastering, and we're close enough that like if he hears a problem on a song, it's like I hear some phasing or there's too much sibilance. It's like it'll make it easy for me if you can remix it and try to tamp some of that down on your end. So it's a nice back and forth, which you don't really get a lot these days. Especially with like AI mastering and stuff, where people just, hit a button and it's mastered or whatever. I don't think that works with my stuff.
Well, also, if you're relying on someone to really give you feedback, like, a lot of AI bots are trained to just like be yes men.
Right.
Make it
You're
sound
sounding great.
You sound so good.
Make it sound like a top 10 hit.
Yeah, exactly.
You need more auto-tune.
I will say too that this sounds, not only does the quality sound great, but also it just has this energy of the live, like a live band. So you did all the instruments on there?
That is my Achilles heel is drum. I can kind of play drums. I've played drums on some records, but a lot of these they're live drummers, but they're beat packages that you can buy. So and there's some amazing drummers on my record, although I feel weird saying Omar Hakim and Nate Smith played on my albums because they don't know it, but so a lot of those I would say like a lot of the beats are they're real drummers, but I kind of build the songs around them.
Well, it's tastefully done.
Thank you.
It's also hard for me to imagine that you always just envision yourself as someone who makes music in the basement, doesn't want to play live, because it seems like you're playing live a fair amount now. And the first time I experienced you was hearing you live, and you were so fantastic. So is it one of those things that you're just sort of begrudgingly doing, or are you actually beginning to like it?
It's interesting. I about a year and a half ago, I was thinking of, as I like to say, de-escalating my 9-to-5 responsibilities. And I had a chat with our friend Michael Paz, and I was like, what can I do? If I wanted to do more with music, and I thought he was going to have ideas for like licensing or, sync, or doing music for video games or movies or TV shows or whatever, or, film projects. And he's like, yeah, we're going to Folk Alliance. Why don't you come to Folk Alliance and just kind of get your feet wet? And it was like, Folk Alliance happened like the week before I left my job. And that was just kind of like, it was so, I don't know, so natural and easy, and everybody was receptive, and it was great to just, I mean, I was worried about bringing like an electric guitar and having a little amp with me, but I wound up buying one of those mini Taylors that'll fit on a plane more easily. And
Nice.
so it was just so, I don't know. It just seemed like the community was very receptive, and I kind of got a kick out of so that was really what kind of set me in motion for wanting to do more live performance.
Oh, nice.
Was Paz told me to get on a plane and go to Folk Alliance.
And you caught that performance, Helen. That's
yeah,
cool.
well, and I will say,
well, that
too,
was Farm. That was yeah.
after that, right? Because you did it Folk Alliance, you did the international conference, right?
Oh, I see.
Right.
And then
Yeah,
then you did
woo.
then you did the regional Midwest
Mhm.
one last year.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Michael Paz, who Buggy is referencing, is a great manager, music industry person, and he works with some of our past guests, including Joy Clark and lots of other great folks. So, Michael Paz not leading you astray.
Yeah,
Buggy
yeah.
Jive.
And he's just a good I've known him for, I think it's 30 years. I've known him just through Joni Mitchell fandom. Like there's
funny.
there's a cadre of us who are like, you know, on an email list and on her original fan website, like in 1995, basically, was when we kind of found each other. And so I've known him for forever.
I love that you met as
good dude.
mutual music fans.
Yeah,
Of like another artist. That's kind of great. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting you mentioned, Joan Didion being a literary reference and Joni
Mhm.
Mitchell being maybe a musical influence.
Yeah.
A lot of women in there, which is really interesting. What other influences would you have, either literary or musically?
I mean, obviously, there's a heavy Prince influence.
Hear that.
I love John Prine. I love Bob Dylan. I love jazz. I'm looking at my wall. I've got the first Broadway show I saw was The Wiz. That was a huge influence on me. I've got the program from that on my wall. Yeah, I got a couple. Let's see. There's 3 Joni posters over there. There's a Prince poster there. There's the Great Day in Harlem classic jazz photo there. Yeah, a lot of that. I was an English major, so I don't think I'm very like scholarly, but like that kind of set the tone for how I engage with art. And a lot of my songwriting is just, it's almost like I'm taking notes in class as I'm stumbling on, like a Julia Alvarez novel recently, or seeing a Shakespeare play on Broadway, which inspired a song, earlier this year. So there's a lot of literary reference in what I do as well, even though I don't think I'm, I don't pretend to be very, I don't read as much as I used to, which, I don't know. But when I do, you're getting a song out of it.
Nice.
So take note, any authors out there want your work reflected back, send it to Buggy Jive, and then maybe he'll write a song about it. Well, Christopher was saying that your approach reminds him a little of the early Lenny Kravitz stuff too.
Yeah.
I
was just telling a friend, like he doesn't like, say what you want about like his songs or his lyrics or whatever, but he was one of the first people back in the day, like to do that whole retro thing with like vintage gear and getting that classic sound and making it sound, I don't know, simultaneously, well, contemporary for the 90s, but also sounded like, 60s and 70s throwback. So he's a really He's always been a really good producer. I think my issue with Lenny Kravitz is that he was married to Lisa Bonet, who was everybody's crush in the 80s. And I cannot get over that. Even though they haven't been together for like a million years. I'm like, oh,
Kravitz.
Lenny, you break her heart and I will break you.
Oh my gosh, that's great. I feel like there's a song there too, for sure.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think it would be even funnier doing it now because it's like so much in the past.
Yeah. And you too, Jason Momoa.
Oh, I love it.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/backcataloglisteningparty.
If you just joined the party, we are chatting with Buggy Jive here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, revisiting his 2018 mixtape. And we're going to hear another tune because I'm itching to hear more.
Yeah, me too.
So the next song you picked to feature is Black Spaces.
Yep.
What do you want to say about this one?
It sounds so, I don't know, hoity-toity when I say, I was at the New Yorker Festival in 2017. And one of the speakers was, one of the sessions I went to was Ava DuVernay, who was in conversation with Jelani Cobb of the New Yorker. Two giants on stage. It was awesome. But I think she had just finished, Selma had been out for a while. And she had just gotten the nod to do A Wrinkle in Time, which I thought was just like, I read A Wrinkle in Time in 3rd grade. So it was like, I don't know. I was like, I couldn't wait for it. And it's a hard book to do as a movie. So, the movie got mixed reviews or whatever, but just the fact that she took it on, I thought was pretty cool. But also she talked a lot about Selma in the making of that and the struggles she had with the production company. And specifically, she talked about there was one scene where they were in the jail cell and she didn't want she wanted only natural light to leak in. She wanted it to look like the hull of a slave. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. She wanted it to look like the hull of a slave ship. She wanted it completely. And she was fighting with the producers because the dailies were coming back and they're like, it's too dark. We can't see their eyes. And I think there was some, there's some French references in that first lyric. So I think she had mentioned that the production company was French. So, where are their eyes? Where are their eyes? And that was just, I just felt like that story kind of encapsulated what she was up against when she was making the movie. And so then, my weird songwriting, it just becomes this hodgepodge or stream of consciousness of references to that scene and to Selma, Alabama, but also to the Wrinkle in Time. That's, I don't know. It's so weird to talk about these things sometimes. But,
well, maybe we'll just give it a listen here. I think that will do all the talking here. Buggy Jive, Black Spaces for Ava DuVernay here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
And black spaces in the daily say reflect the light. French money man is begging her to show their eyes. Black faces and black spaces on the daily darkness whisperers. French money asking où sont les yeux. Trying to be and observe the light. Black faces and white spaces, daddy's little spies. Black panic, white panic, confessor, black tesseract, daddy's little girl. Hop from planet to planet, she gon' say the word. Money talks, so you keep talking, and you're still broke, but you keep talking. It's your master stroke that you keep talking, 'cause they think they won't, but they sleepwalking. A black girl's gonna save the world. 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 Black girl's gonna save the Black faces and black spaces. It's a jail, it's a cell, it's a road to hell. Paved with good intentions. It's the hull of a ship. It's a footstep, it's a bridge. Will you sink? Can you swim? Who's it? What's it? And which? Fight or might make a right. Paint with celluloid light. It's a promise of life. It's a promise of life. She was raised on the promise of life. It's a promise of life. In your heart, in your heart. It's the waters of the marsh. Keep on trying to tell your story. Wild nights are your
All right.
Nice.
Buggy Jive with Black Spaces for Ava Duvernay. And man, Christopher had a question that I was going to ask. Did you layer yourself for all the harmonies? Are those all your vocals in there?
Yeah.
I mean, especially for that section kind of near the end where it's just that like round kind of voices.
Yeah.
What I think is especially cool about that is that you really, it seems like you intentionally chose to have different textures of voices. Like, so it does sound like multiple people, whereas at the end where it has those tight high harmonies, that feels like it's meant to be a little more like choral-ish.
Yeah.
But that earlier part, it sounds like a whole lot of voices. It's really neat.
That's the Prince and Joni influence, you know. And I think Prince got his harmony layering from Joni, really.
He was a huge fan, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right out the gate on his first album, it's just an a cappella hymn and, stacks and stacks of vocals. So, and yeah, they were buddies and hung out. I will also say at the very end, and this was just randomly as I was like listening to like rough demos of the song, it started to feel like that bossa nova song Waters of March, and there's even a reference in there, but it's like the that kind of parataxis and that it's the blah, it's the blah, it's the blah. I'm like, oh, this is like Waters of March. And that's how I kind of in that section of the song, I actually say it's the Waters of March. But as I'm thinking of it, I'm thinking of them crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge and, on the, the walk from Selma to Birmingham. So it's like, there's March the month, there's Marching for Justice, so it's, I don't know. It's just one of those weird full circle moments.
Yeah. Alan also commented saying Elvis Costello vibe, which I can kind of hear a little bit in there too.
I get that all the time. Elvis Costello, definitely. Yep.
Well, I'm curious because, you do all this in your home, recording all the parts. I'm guessing because you have the opportunity that you might change things up, but was this, so you might sort of decide to add things later, but with that whole vocal section in the middle, I'm guessing a lot of that, is planned out. Like, did you hear that in your head when you first wrote the song, or was that something you kind of stumbled upon as you started recording?
It's always a little bit of both. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Some of it is I hear it in my head before I, bring it into Logic.
Bring it to the band.
Yeah. I want to use that one. But some of it is, the recording process itself becomes part of the songwriting, and sometimes it's tough to know where one begins and one ends. And sometimes you bring an idea and you're like, that's not working. So you have to flip it up or.
Well, again, it does sound like, you were joking earlier about being, a band, but it feels like you do have a pretty good sense of like, because that's often the role of bandmates or producers, right? Is to be like, oh, that's not really working. Why don't we try something different? It sounds like you're as good as anyone else about telling yourself, no, that's not working.
Yeah, I do try to get out of my own way and play to my strengths. As if it's something I don't think I can do or a note I can't hit, it's like, oh, that's the melody, but I can't really hit that note. So let me rewrite it. But that's part of the luxury of working by myself. One of these days I'll do some more collaboration. I did some collaboration earlier this year, just contributing vocals to a hip hop artist and these two jazz songwriter friends of mine.
I was going to ask, do you ever, it sounds like you really enjoy making the music at yourself in the basement, but like, do you ever think, maybe this time I'll bring it to someone else to help out?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to happen. It's got to be the right vibe. I will say working on those two projects earlier this year was it was really the first time that I've collaborated, but even then all I had to do was pass tracks back and forth, I will say that the jazz project, I definitely felt like I was punching above my weight class, because it was like, and as I was saying before, it's like I'll do covers, but usually I bend the cover to fit the way I perform and sing. Like even when I cover a Joni Mitchell tune, like I never really do her tunings or whatever. I just wind up doing my own version of it, much to the chagrin of some of my Joni friends. But they're like, no, that E flat needs to be a E flat. I'm like, oh, okay. Can't fudge it. But it's good. It was good. Excellent.
Well, if you just joined us, again, we're chatting with Buggy Jive here on the Back Catalog listening party about his 2018 mixtape recorded in his basement, him doing all the different parts. And if you like what you hear, he says, even though there isn't an official store on his website, he says that if you reach out to him through his website, buggyjive.com, he can hook you up with a CD. So definitely reach out to him. Go to buggyjive.com. You can check out the tour dates because he does emerge from the basement to a surprising degree. So you can catch Buggy Jive performing live, or again, check out the album, because I will say we're listening on headphones and it sounds good. So if you're liking the music on on the podcast or on YouTube, it's going to sound even better if you get the high res tracks. So highly recommend it.
Agreed. It really sounds fantastic. And I do want to mention too that we know that there's a live stream that was associated, that with this mixtape, and we talked about the picture that we saw earlier. But that live stream still exists, and I, when prepping for the show, watched some of it, and it was really cool. It kind of, in some ways, kind of helps me understand the way that you would interpret these things live. So even if people haven't seen you perform live, I think performing live on camera is just as interesting in the way that you edit the video, and we see that wonderful audience. I'll just let everybody know that we'll put a link to that in the show notes at backcataloglisteningparty.com. Definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, for sure. And again, if you get a chance to see him live, either again, watch the video or see him in person, highly recommended. Well, time is going really fast.
I know. We're losing time quick.
Okay,
No worries,
wait,
no worries.
let's jump into the next song. That's all I gotta say. So this is not a pipe. Anything you want to say about it before we take a listen?
My daughter bought a print of something that was a takeoff of the Magritte "This Is Not a Pipe" painting, and I think it was "This Is Not a Bike." I think is what it was, and she was like kind of into French art at that middle school phrase of hers. And I don't know how this came about. It's such a weird song. And the music video is even weirder. I got nothing.
Oh, you got something.
Yeah.
But it's not a pipe. I'll tell you that much.
I will say that I did not have the music video in mind at all when I wrote the song. But once I got the idea of like doing like crude animations and inserting myself into these classic paintings, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. I had a lot of fun making that video. It took forever because it was, rendering, all those little animation bits, but it was fun. It was fun.
All right, well, let's give the tune a spin. This is not a pipe by Buggy Jive here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Les enfants qui applaudissent ne vont pas au paradis.
Oh, this is not a pipe. This is not a pipe. This is not a right. This is not a pipe. This is not right. This is not wrong. This is not a pipe. This is not a song.
It's weird.
This is not a pipe. This is not crack. This is not white. This ain't black. This ain't your ass. This ain't your face. This is not about class. This is not about race.
Why is it always about race with you people?
Because it is. Now sit down. Try these shoes on. Big feet.
This ain't no Mardi Gras or San Francisco. This ain't no party, y'all. This ain't no disco. This ain't jazz. This ain't the blues. This ain't the network. This ain't the news.
Not yet, though.
This ain't no painting. Ain't no Matisse. Ain't no Picasso. Ain't no Magritte. This is the treachery of images, of ideas, of sound. This is the treachery of humanity, of democracy, of mediocrity. This is the treasury of images, of ideas, of sound, of song, of harmony, of the key bass.
Awesome. Don't clap on the one, folks.
No.
What is wrong with me?
I love that. I want to take that
fight.
and sample it and then just bring it to live shows with me and
Oh my gosh, yeah.
and play that.
I saw John Batiste at Saratoga Performing Arts Center with the Philadelphia Orchestra. And he did Blueberry Hill, and my God, everybody was clapping on the one. I was like, anyway.
So an important message.
Oh my gosh.
Friends don't let friends clap on the one. It's funny. That's my daughter at the beginning who says in French, children who clap on the one do not go to heaven, which is a takeoff of something on Prince's Parade album. At the beginning of the song, it says he has a little girl say, children who lie don't go to heaven. So I just had my daughter
I love it.
Remix it.
Oh my gosh. Love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
I love it. I love getting a tour through your brain, Buggy.
Yeah.
It's a
weird
awesome.
place. It's a weird place.
Well, I can see why you don't really need to leave your basement, because it's all happening right there, you know? The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com.
And our friend Chris mentioned that Frank Zappa wrote some songs that also made us think in a different way.
Yeah.
And, I think it's, doesn't have to be linear.
No.
It doesn't have to make sense in the normal ways.
And it does feel like it was inspired. It's interesting. So many of these things seem to be inspired by different pieces of art or artists, obviously you had a writer, a filmmaker, and here a piece of art too, which I love, because these are all things that make us think and explore these weird pathways. And I really, really love that.
Yeah, I have on my iPad, I have a note called Art Thoughts. And like, as I'm reading or watching a documentary or whatever, I just like to sometimes do just a brain dump of like, my thoughts and feelings and love and anger and all the emotions you get when engaging with art. And sometimes that turns into songs and about yelling at people for clapping on the one.
Yeah, and when you're playing in your basement to your fake audience, you don't have to worry about that. You can imagine that they're all not clapping on the one.
Yeah.
So that's really important. It's harder when you have the real
I saw the
audience.
picture though. A couple of them look like they might have been clapping.
Yeah,
on the one. I don't know.
There's that.
Yeah, it depends how good your imagination is. You're imagining all the different types of audience members you might have.
That's funny.
Do you do any visual art, Buggy?
I don't consider myself a visual artist. My brother is a good artist, and my aunt was a great painter. But I don't really consider myself but I approach like design and video and photography the way I do music. It's just I try to play to my strengths.
Well,
or rather, as some would say, avoid my weaknesses. Stay in my lane.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I ask is that you do have a wonderful visual aesthetic on your website and on the videos that I've seen and things like that. And it makes it stand out. And again, I'm going to encourage people to go check out those videos, man. They're really, really cool.
I do have fun making the videos, although I took a break for like a year because it's like sometimes the videos get more attention than the songs. I'm like, yeah, but what about the song?
I know. That's the world we're in now.
Oh, that video was so great. What'd you think of the song, man?
Yeah. Well, luckily you can get both. So check it out. We have links. If you're listening to the podcast, if you go to backcataloglisteningparty.com, you'll find links to all these things. Also some photos that we've been sharing as well on the YouTube taping. And also Of course, if you go to buggyjive.com, you can find out all the stuff there, including how to hear this album again in its entirety, because we're just getting a little sampling of it. And we're going to get to one more song. But before we do, I want to take this opportunity to thank the folks that have kept this show going. We started this show during the pandemic. It was our pandemic project, and we were all stuck in our basements or attic spaces, whatever. We were, this is what we did, because we didn't have live audiences or friends we could hang out with except online. And so a lot of these folks who are members of our Patreon community who support the show have been there since the beginning, and many more have joined along the way because they believe in the show. They believe in the power of enjoying music with or without video.
Yeah.
And so we want to thank these folks for keeping the party rolling for over 5 years. Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Homestead, Pick and Parlor, Severin, Lynn, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Wiley, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor, Ann BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, and maybe you. If you want to join our Patreon community and support the show, you get invitations to all the live tapings, and also first look at all the guests. You can get a back catalog listening party pint glass. And it won't be filled with beer. You have to fill it yourself, but we will send you a pint glass. And, but mainly, it's again, these folks supporting the show that really, keep it going so we can all enjoy it. So, but whether you're listening, enjoying the live show on YouTube or listening to the podcast, we're just glad your ears are here in any way that they are.
Yeah. Amen to that. And if you are listening on a podcast platform, you could like this episode or share it with a friend. Same with YouTube. And then more people are going to find Buggy Jive and all of this wonderful music and art and all these things that we're talking about. So that's the other mission for this show, is to unearth things that have, been recorded years ago and deserve to see more light. So
bring it out of the basement, folks.
That's right. We're bringing it out of the
Dust
basement.
it off. Well, we're going to get to one more song before we head out today. And this track is called We Wear the Mask. Is there anything you want to say about it?
This one, I did not write the lyrics to. They are the poet Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote these lyrics. And I don't know. I stumbled on that poem in a book one day, and like I heard the music like in the words, like almost again getting a little emotional as I was like I feel like for the first time I knew how Elton John feels when Bernie Taupin hands him the lyrics and he's like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
He just cranks out it was like immediately I knew exactly like the structure, the chords, the melody. As I was reading it, it was the weirdest weird experience, but yeah, that's where it came from.
All right, we're going to close out our hour with We Wear the Mask from Buggy Jive here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Grins and lies, and hide our cheeks and shades our eyes. The debt we pay to human guile, with sudden bleeding hearts we smile. Should the world be otherwise, in counting all of our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see a smile. We bosom sore, we wear the mask. We beat the bars to get some free. We wear the mask. It is not a call of joy or glee. We wear the mask. But a prayer from the heart's deep core. It's a prayer from the heart's deep core. It's a prayer from the heart's deep core. It's a prayer from the heart's deep core. When the wing is bruised and the bosom sore, comes a prayer from the heart's deep core. It's a prayer from the heart's deep core. Comes a prayer from the heart's deep core.
All right. Buggy
Wow.
Jive with We Wear the Mask from his 2018 album, The Buggy Jive Mixtape. Christopher said, cool, you got Keith Richards to sit in. Rock on. Yeah,
That
some
was,
real
that was
good
rocking,
shredding.
man. That
Yeah.
was rocking. Yeah.
Really good stuff. And if you want to get a copy of this album, Buggy says you should reach out to him from his at his website, buggyjive.com. He can probably hook you up with a copy if you're interested. And you should check out his website for tour dates and music because you've released a couple singles this year and you have a new album coming out in November, right?
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. Anything you
Yeah.
want to say about that to tease it for folks?
The album is called Icarus Ascending, which is a line I stole from Joni Mitchell, which I do a lot of stealing from Joni Mitchell.
Steal from the best, right?
Nobody tell her. And I'm a bunch of songs that I wrote, mostly earlier this year. And that's how albums usually happen for me. It's like just like a burst of like 3 months of just cranking out songs, and then I just whittle them down to a single project. And
Excellent.
Awesome. Looking
Well,
forward to
the
that.
world.
I can't wait to take the next tour through your brain.
Yeah.
Buggy Jive.
I know.
It's been so fun, and folks really loving the show, chiming in.
Yeah.
Really, really good stuff. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, no matter how you've done so. We're happy to have your ears. Again, as Tony said earlier, if you like it on whatever platform you're listening to, review it, share it with friends, and you can subscribe on YouTube or any of the podcast places so you can be notified when our next episode drops. We share new episodes just about every week here. Bringing some Friday to whatever day of the week you're tuned into.
That's right. Always Friday
vibes.
here.
That's right. Well, thank you again, Buggy, for taking this hour with us to chat with us. It's been so fun.
Thanks for having me. This was not as painful as I thought it might be.
Good.
We'll take that praise. We'll take a praise. I feel like we should put that quote on the website.
That's on the press kit. Yeah.
Not as painful as I expected.
It's hard to talk about myself. My gosh. But no, it's fun. It's fun. Y'all are cool.
Well, thank you so much. And hope you all have a wonderful music-filled week. And we'll see you back next week for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.
All right. Until then, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Link. Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.